Seated behind his desk in the Oval Office, Lyndon Johnson appeared pensive and subdued when, on the evening of Thursday, November 28, 1963, he delivered brief remarks to the nation. It was 6:15, and LBJ was only in the 6th full day of his presidency. Tonight, on this Thanksgiving, I come before you to ask your help, to ask your strength, to ask your prayers that God may guard this republic and guide my every labor, he began. All of us have lived through 7 days that none of us will ever forget. We are not given the divine wisdom to answer why this has been, but we are given the human duty of determining what is to be for America, for the world, for the cause we lead, for all the hopes that live in our hearts. Reading with deliberate care from a prepared text, the President acknowledged what was surely on every American's mind. A great leader is dead. A great nation must move on. Yesterday is not ours to recover, but tomorrow is ours to win or to lose. The day before, LBJ had delivered his first speech before a joint session of Congress, a solemn and widely acclaimed address in which the new president pledged to pick up the mantle from John F. Kennedy and secure passage of the New Frontier's sweeping but stalled policy agenda, including a major tax cut that Kennedy's advisers believed would stimulate the economy, aid to primary and secondary education, and hospital care for seniors. Dozens of LBJ's former colleagues from Dixie sat in stone-cold silence as Johnson affirmed to stirring applause that no memorial oration or eulogy could more eloquently honor President Kennedy's memory than the earliest possible passage of the Civil Rights Bill for which he fought so long. We have talked long enough in this country about equal rights. We have talked for 100 years or more. It is time now to write the next chapter, and to write it in the books of law. Now, on Thanksgiving, Johnson doubled down, asking his countrymen to join him in prayer for his divine wisdom in banishing from our land any injustice or intolerance or oppression to any of our fellow Americans, whatever their opinion, whatever the color of their skins. For God made all of us, not some of us, in His image. All of us, not just some of us, are His children. For most Americans, Thanksgiving week marked the start of the holiday season. For Lyndon Johnson, it signaled the beginning of an intense year-long sprint to prove that he could break the logjam, achieve the new frontier, and surpass it beyond even the wildest expectations of John Kennedy's supporters. It would be no easy lift. I think the Congress looks more powerful sitting here than it did when I was there in the Congress, Kennedy remarked roughly a year before his death. For well over 2 decades, a coalition of conservative Southern Democrats and Northern Republicans had stymied the expansion of domestic policies first established during the New Deal era. In the Senate, an institution that the journalist William White once dubbed the South's unending revenge upon the North for Gettysburg, conservatives made frequent use of the filibuster to prevent social welfare and civil rights legislation from coming to a vote, while in the House, powerful Southerners kept such measures forever bottled up in committee. Now, in a sharp rebuke to Kennedy's promise of dynamic action and national rejuvenation, the conservative coalition had all but ground the government to a halt. Not only did the House and the Senate refuse to take up key New Frontier measures, they also refused to pass 8 of 12 routine appropriations bills, thus leaving whole parts of the government unfunded and operating on a continuing resolution that set spending at the previous year's levels. Congressional Quarterly deemed the state of affairs unprecedented, while Walter Lippmann, the Dean of American Journalism, bemoaned the scandal of drift and inefficiency that had beset Washington. This Congress has gone further than any other within memory to replace debate and decision by delay and stultification. This is one of those moments when there is reason to wonder whether the congressional system as it now operates is not a grave danger to the Republic. Yet, as Harry Truman famously asserted, the buck stopped with the president. A week before Kennedy's assassination, the columnist James Reston noted, "A vague feeling of doubt and disappointment about President Kennedy's first term. He has touched the intellect of the country, but not its heart. He has informed but not inspired the nation. He is the most popular figure, but he has been lucky in his competition. His problem is probably not how to get elected, but how to govern." Such was the state of affairs when Lyndon Johnson entered the White House.